The mother stands by the island pier, waiting for her son. Her luggage is bigger than she is. Dressed in her finest traveling clothes, she seems hardly able to contain her excitement as she speaks to Kaim, who happens to be waiting for the same boat to arrive. "I got a letter from him," she says. Almost 30 years have passed since her only son left the island of his birth. There was no word from him in all that time, until he recently wrote announcing his successes and his plan to bring her to the mainland. "I've been alone ever since I lost my husband, so just to think that I might be able to spend the rest of my life with my son, my wife, and my grandchildren." She sold the house she had always lived in and has been waiting for her son to come for her. The letter arrived over a week ago. "I wonder why it's taking him so long. The seas are calm." Kaim arrived on yesterday's ferry. "You mean he's late?" Kaim asked with some surprise. "Very. I wonder what's wrong. Maybe he got busy all of a sudden and can't pull himself away from his work." "He hasn't written again to explain?" "He's never bothered with such things like that. Not since he was a child." No bigger than a dot at first, the boat is now big enough for a clear view of the mast and the silhouette. "Anyhow, I'm not worried. I know he'll be on this boat," she says. Kaim also stares hard at the boat, which gives his eyes a stern expression. "Young man?" At the sound of the mother's voice, Kaim hastens to soften his gaze before turning toward her. "You're a traveler, aren't you?" "That's right." "I saw you on yesterday's ferry. Are you leaving so soon?" She is obviously curious about this stranger, but her face shows no wariness toward outsiders. Relieved to see this, Kaim replies, "I'm doing the same thing you are, waiting for someone to arrive." "On this boat?" Yes, probably." "You haven't been in touch with this person?" "No, we haven't agreed on a time. I might be waiting for nothing, too." "Oh, really?" Kaim evades further questioning with a strained smile. This is not something he can discuss with just anyone. He is on a secret mission, one that must not fail. The woman still wears their look of puzzlement, but their conversation is swallowed up in the general hubbub on shore, accompanying the approach of the boat. At last, the ferry arrives. One by one, passengers alight their half-day trip from the capital on mainland. Clutching the handkerchief to her breast, the mother scans each of them. There are peddlers who travel from island to island hawking their wares, and men who have come to do larger-scale trading. Sunburned young men and women who arrive from the mainland in groups to work on the island's farms, and men coming home to the island after a season of labor on the mainland. None of the dozens of passengers, however, is the woman's son. Once it has disgorged its island-bound passengers, the ferry takes on people crossing to the mainland. Greeters on the pier give way to well-wishers. The mother turns her back on the pier's hustle and bustle and plods her way toward town. She hoists a heavy pack on her back and lifts a large suitcase in each hand, but she has only taken a few steps when the pack begins to slide off. Kaim reaches out to keep it from falling. The woman turns with a look of surprise, and when she realizes that Kaim is alone, she asks, "So your person didn't come either? Looks that way." With only one ferry a day from the mainland, all they can do is wait until tomorrow. "Are you going to stay on the island till your friend comes?" "Might have to." "You could run up quite a hotel bill that way." "I'm alright. I'm used to camping out." "Camping out?" She exclaims this with a look of amazement. Then she smiles and says, "Oh well, you're young and in good condition. A few days sleeping outdoors shouldn't be too hard on you." "What are you going to do, ma'am? Go back to home?" "I wish I could. I sold my house last week. I was so sure my son would come and get me right away. A hint of discouragement clouds her face, but she quickly recovers her smile and continues. The money I got for this house is a nice little bundle, so I've decided to spend freely for a change. You see that hotel over there? I'm staying in their biggest room and taking it easy all day and night. I'm disappointed when he doesn't show up, of course, but I've worked my fingers to the bone all these years. It won't hurt me to indulge myself just this little bit. Though delivered with a smile, her words touched Kaim deeply. In her case, worked my fingers to the bone is not just a figure of speech, as evidenced by her sun-tanned face, which is so unsuited to the cosmetics she applied to greet her son, and especially by her bony fingers, so ill-concealed by the cheap ring she is wearing. Hard as she has undoubtedly worked, life has granted her few rewards. There is nothing expensive about her luggage. I'm sure your son will be here tomorrow, Kaim says. Her deeply wrinkled face breaks into a joyous smile. Yes, of course, tomorrow for sure. I hope that the person you're waiting for comes on tomorrow's boat too. Thank you very much, he replies. I have an idea. You might get sick camping out. If you'd like, why not stay in my hotel? I'm sure we could arrange for something for one extra person. Kaim senses that she is not suggesting this out of mere politeness, which is precisely why he demurs with a smile and a nod. Thanks just the same, he says. But don't worry about me. Just take the rest you deserve after your long years of hard work. If you say so. She seems somewhat disappointed, but does not press him to accept. As he watches her trudge off toward her hotel alone, all but hidden from view by her huge bundles, Kaim wonders if, perhaps, she was hoping that his company might ease her concern that her son might not show up after all. Even so, he decides not to chase after her and retract his refusal. He is the wrong man to spend time with a mother whose only dream is to have a happy old age. Most likely, when tomorrow's boat arrives, she will finally be reunited with the son she has longed to see all these years. The person that Kaim is waiting for will also most certainly cross over to the island tomorrow. The mother will undoubtedly shed great tears when her reunion takes place. Kaim, on the other hand, has a bloody job to perform when he encounters the man he's waiting for. Kaim has been hunting him. The man is a fugitive, and there is a reward on his head. He is known as the boss of an underworld gang in the capital, and he has committed crimes without number: robbery, fraud, extortion, assault, and even murder. To cap his life of crime, he double-crossed his own gang and ran off with a great deal of money. Word reached the gang only a few days ago that the man is headed for this island, the place of his birth, and they hired Kaim to take care of him. The fact that they hired Kaim means that they are ready to have him killed on sight. Kaim and the mother meet at the dock again the next day at the same time, and again the next day, and the next, and the day after that. The ones they are waiting for never come. A week goes by. The mother switches accommodations from her expensive hotel to a cheap inn frequented by traveling peddlers. Actually, I'm more comfortable in a cheap place like this, she tells Kaim with a laugh, but more than likely her money would have run out in the first hotel. Your person is very late too, she observes. True. Who is it? He sidesteps the issue with a strained smile. He cannot answer her if he is going to carry out his duty. And besides, he feels a tiny premonition deep inside. The mother stops questioning him and says, I hope your person comes soon. Another 3 days go by. A messenger from the gang, disguised as a peddler, whispers to Kaim as he steps off the ferry. We think he's still hiding in the capital. We're looking in every rat hole we can find, but there's no sign of him. Kaim nods silently and glances at the boat. Even after the last passenger alights, the mother stands on the pier, looking up at the boat's empty deck.